Welcome back, everyone, to Life with Cloud. We are on the last villain of the Disney Villainous box set, of the original box set, which is super exciting. I feel like we definitely saved the best for last, and he is my man, Jafar from Aladdin. I think he is probably one of the most fun villains that I've played through because it requires a lot of interactions with other players, but at the same time, he's just so complex, and I enjoy his playstyle. So as always, in these videos, we will go through board setup, how to complete Jafar's objective, villains deck, heroes deck, and then at the end, we're going to close off with some tips and combinations. So, without further ado, let's begin. As we begin with Jafar's game board, very quickly we'll notice the 4 different locations, which is we have Sultan's Palace here at the very first section, Streets of Agrabah, and then Oasis here in the third, and then Cave of Wonders. Following that, we notice this little lock here. So as we originally begin, we put a lock here on Cave of Wonders, recognizing that as we play through this, we will need to unlock Cave of Wonders to progress the story. Jafar's story, or Jafar's objective, is quite simple. So it is start your turn with the magic lamp at Sultan's Palace, which is right here, and then Genie under your control. And so under your control is here at the bottom end of your board, right? And so we'll definitely take a look at how Jafar can get the Genie under his control. Taking a look at Jafar's villain deck, we will start off with the allies first. And so the most basic of the allies is the Palace Guard. And so the Palace Guard, it takes 1 power token to summon, has a strength of 2, and you have 3 copies of this card. Following that, we have Razul. And so Razul costs 3 tokens to summon, and then 3 strength to play, and then the cost to play allies to Razul's location is reduced by 1. Following that, we have the infamous Iago. And so Iago has 1 power resource or 1 power token to summon and has a strength of 1. Has a very unique effect. Pay 1 power or pay 1 power token. You get to move Iago to an unattached item at his location to an adjacent unlock location, right? So you'll definitely see how we use this card later on to move the magic lamp to Sultan's Palace. And then last but not least of the allies is Gazim. Costs 2 power tokens to summon, and then has a strength of 2. When Gazim is discarded from your realm, you may choose an item from your discard pile and put it back into your hand. So having a chance to bring things from your discard pile back into your hand. Next, we take a look at the conditions that Jafar uses. Once again, conditions are cards that are used when your other players do something that meets the condition, right? So the first one is called Manipulation. And so manipulation is played when during other player's turn, if another player has 3 or more allies in the realm, you may play manipulation, choose any card from your discard pile, and then put it into your hand. And you have 2 copies of this card. The next condition is Deception. During their turn, other player's turn, if another player has 2 or more items in the realm, you may play Deception, reveal and play the top card of the player's fate deck. So only 1 card from them. And then you have 2 copies of this as well. Next, we take a look at the effect cards of Jafar's deck, and we start off with Scrying. And so Scrying is choose either an item or an ally, reveal cards from the top of your deck until you reveal a card of that chosen type, put the card in your hand and discard the rest. So this is definitely a late game card where you need something like Hypnotize, or if you need something specific to win, and you have 3 copies of this card. Next, we have Necessary Sacrifice. And so Necessary Sacrifice is discard any item or ally under your control and gain 3 power. So trading your pieces or your cards for power tokens. And you have 3 copies. Next, followed by that, we have A Snake Am I? And A Snake Am I is defeat a hero with a strength of 4 at Jafar's location. So wherever he's standing, destroy one of the heroes. And you have 2 copies of this card. The next effect card is Sorcerous Power. You may move a hero to any unlocked location. You may move an ally to any unlocked location as well. So you have 2 copies of this card. Notice how for this card, it says you may move a hero and then you may move an ally. You can actually do both action as well. So definitely a two-way street here. Last but not least of the effect cards, and this is a very important one, is Hypnotize. So Hypnotize, defeat a hero, or when the hero is defeated or vanquished, move them to the bottom of your board. The hero is under your control and treated as an ally with the same strength. Ignore their ability. The cost to hypnotize is equal to the hero's strength. So this is a very important card to help us complete Jafar's objective to bring the genie under our control. You have 2 copies of this card. All right, so we come to the items of Jafar's deck, and we start off with the most basic item, which is called Scimitar. And so Scimitar, you have 3 copies, and what it does is this. When Scimitar is played, attach it to an ally, that ally gets 1 strength. Next, you have 2 copies of Giant Hourglass. And so Giant Hourglass is an item that stays on the field. And so while it's on the field and you activate its effect, heroes at this location get 2 or -2 strength until the end of your turn, right? So playing it at a location where, say, Genie's at, hint, hint, or any other strong heroes, hint, hint, very helpful here. Next, we have the Magic Lamp. And so the Magic Lamp may only be played to the Cave of Wonders. When the Magic Lamp is played, find Genie and play him to the Cave of Wonders. Next, we have Scarab Pendant. When Scarab Pendant is played, unlock the Cave of Wonders. At the end of each turn, you now can draw up to 5 cards. Very cool effect. And then last but definitely not least of all the item cards is Snake Staff. So pay 1 power and you can put a Hypnotize that is in your discard pile into your hand, right? And that costs 2 power tokens to play and you have 1 copy of this card. Taking a look now at the Heroes deck, we will begin with the items inside that deck. And so the first item, or the only item, sorry, we're taking a look at is called Wish. When Wish is played, attach it to a hero and that hero gets a +2 strength. And you have 3 copies of this card. Next, we take a look at the effect cards. And so the first effect we're going to take a look at is called Narrow Escape. Choose and play a hero from Jafar's Fate discard pile, and you have 2 of these cards. Next effect is Treachery. Jafar loses 2 power tokens, and you have 1 copy of that card. And then last but not least in terms of the effect, you have Crushing Blow. Discard an ally with a strength of 3 or less from Jafar's realm. Just discarding it, so sad. And you have a total of 2 cards. And now we get to the heroes. The ones that are going to stop Jafar from winning. And so we're going to start off with the one that I think is everyone's favorite, if not one of the funniest characters when he pulls Aladdin's pants, which is Raj. Raj gets a +2 strength when Princess Jasmine is in Jafar's realm, and strength of 4 right there. And you have obviously 1 copy of Raj. Next is Carpet. And so the Magic Carpet. Jafar must defeat the carpet before any other heroes, like a taunt. Strength of 2. Next, we have the lovable Sultan. Palace guards cannot be used to defeat the Sultan. Strength of 2. And then we have probably one of my least favorite characters, but because he ruined, or he progressed the story, but he definitely ruined the Cave of Wonder, which is Abu. When Abu is played, you may choose an item at his location, or any item at his location, and attach it to him. Jafar cannot use that item. When Abu is defeated, the item is then returned to Jafar at the same location, right? And strength of 2. Next, we have Princess Jasmine. And so when Princess Jasmine is played, Jafar draws cards at the end of each turn. He draws one less card. So similar to the effect that we saw earlier, where he can now have 5 cards, Princess Jasmine negates that effect and reduces back down to 4. And if that card's not played, then reduces to 3, right? So pretty powerful card here. Next, we have Aladdin. And so when Aladdin is played, you may choose any item at his location and attach it to him. Jafar cannot use that item, similar to Abu. When Aladdin is defeated, the item is returned to Jafar at the same location. So same effect as Abu. And then last but not least of the heroes within the hero deck is Genie. And so Genie gets a +2 strength if the magic lamp is at his location. And he has a base strength of 6. As we begin the tips and combination section of Jafar's playstyle, we want to take a look first at board clears or removals on the board. And the reason I say that is because it's very important for Jafar to be able to manage the heroes that are coming out in play, because at one point he will just become overwhelmed and be unable to really vanquish or remove certain heroes from the board. So we're going to take a look at, first and foremost, the board clear, or the card that is the removal card for Jafar, and that's called a snake MI. So a snake MI, simply put, is defeat a hero with a strength of 4 at any location or Jafar's location, right? So we're moving Jafar to different locations and using this card here to vanquish specific heroes, right? And once again, you have 2 copies of this card. The reason why we're focusing on this card first is because all of the heroes within Jafar's deck, if we take a look, is Raj has a strength of 4, Jasmine strength of 3, Carpet strength of 2, Sultan strength of 2, Abu strength of 2, Aladdin strength of 4, and then Genie strength of 6. So out of everyone here, the snake card, or a snake MI, actually can remove everyone but the Genie, right? And so that's really powerful because we want to be able to remove a lot of these cards very quickly. So the first card we're going to take a look at that we want to be removing quite quickly is Carpet. And so Carpet's effect is Jafar must defeat Carpet before defeating any heroes. So if Carpet is played, let's say here, and we don't remove him, what does that happen, right? You're like, well, Carpet has a strength of 2, he's not a big deal, let's not remove him, we can wait a little bit longer. The unfortunate part is that if we wait a little bit longer and someone draws this combination here, which is Raj plus Princess Jasmine. So Princess Jasmine, once again, has no effect immediately on every hero, but affects Jafar. Princess Jasmine reduces the amount of cards that we can have holding it at any given time on our turn. So if for every average turn, we will have 4 cards. With Princess Jasmine in play, we can now only hold 3 cards. Even if we have the Scarab Pendant in play, which gives us a 5-card bonus, this will reduce it back down to the average 4-card or the normal 4-card bonus. So let's say Jasmine is now played, right? Because we decided not to remove Carpet, so someone draws out Jasmine, and we're like, okay, crap. Now there's a little bit more heroes. The card you are not wanting to see from the people around you when they fate you is now Raj. Because Raj gets a +2 strength if Jasmine is anywhere in the realm. As we can see, Jasmine is currently at the Oasis. And so if we were to play Raj here, he now has a strength of 6 because of his effect, nullifying the effect of Snake MI, right? And so the purpose or the idea here is that, if Carpet is played, we can't remove any of Jasmine or Raj currently in play. We must remove Carpet first. If Carpet is removed, we can then ideally, of course, remove Jasmine second, because after her effect, Raj becomes a lot weaker to remove as well, right? Taking a look at the other heroes and why we want to be removing them. Next one is Sultan, which is guards cannot be used to defeat the Sultan. So let's say the Sultan is at his palace, Streets of Agrabah, Oasis, anywhere. Right? Let's say we put him on here. The only cards that has the strength to defeat him is either Razul, right? And so Razul's cost, and we'll talk a little bit more about Razul's effect, but he's one of the cards that can defeat Sultan, which is strength of 3, which is not a good use of our resources, right? The card we actually want to be focusing on or using to defeat the Sultan is Gazim, right? And the reason for that is because of its effect. When Gazim is discarded from your realm, you may choose an item from your discard pile and put it back into your hand, right? And so this is the beauty of it, is that let's say Sultan is played and he has a strength of 2. Gazim also has a strength of 2, and then we play him down here. As we use the vanquish option to vanquish the Sultan, Sultan gets vanquished, Gazim gets discarded, and because of his effect, when he gets discarded, we can now bring one of the items back into our hand, which is a great, resource management on our part as well. Last but not least is the heroes, Abu and Aladdin. And so they both have the same effect, which is when Abu or Aladdin is played, you may choose an item at his location, so wherever location they're played, and attach that item to either Abu or Aladdin, right? Jafar can now not use that item, and when Abu is defeated, that item is then returned. Or when Aladdin is defeated, that item is then returned back to Jafar's same location, right? So this will negate many of the items that you'll see here on the bottom of Jafar's deck, and they will definitely stop and slow down Jafar's progression. So definitely want to be removing them with, ideally, a snake MI, right? And so these are just some of the very basic things to look out for in terms of board removal, or which heroes we want to be removing quite actively. Now, let's take a look at how we progress and move through Jafar's storyline. Beginning with unlocking the Cave of Wonder, the card that you are looking for is this one here, which is Scarab Pendant. And so when Scarab Pendant is played, we unlock the Cave of Wonder. So that gets unlocked. And we now get to hold 5 cards into our hands. So this is an item card that stays on the field, anywhere, wherever we choose to play it, but it stays on the field. If it is removed, we now lose the ability to hold 5 cards in our hands. So if someone, and there's a lot of other cards there that will discard our items, but if it is no longer on field and in discard pile, we will only be able to hold 4 cards in our hand. But in this case, let's say Scarab Pendant is played here, and so Cave of Wonder is now unlocked, and so Jafar has the option now to move to Cave of Wonders, Oasis, Streets of Agrabah, or Sultan's Palace. Next, we will take a look at, once the Scarab is played, what are we looking to do? Is we are looking to find or play the Magic Lamp. So the Magic Lamp may only be played to the Cave of Wonders, which is right here. And when the Magic Lamp is played, we then go and find Genie in the Fate deck. So we play Cave of Wonders here, and then we go into our Fate deck and we look for Genie. When Genie gets played, if he is on the same section as the Magic Lamp, he now gets a strength of, or plus strength of 2. Finally, how do we make Genie weaker, right? And so his condition is, if the Magic Lamp is on the same location as him, the card that we're looking for is Iago. So Iago is move Iago and one unattached item at his location to an adjacent unlocked location. So let's say when, this is our game state board and we have Iago in our hand, we take 1 power token and play Iago, and then we're definitely going to play him first here at the Cave of Wonder. As we play him here at the Cave of Wonder, we will use his activated effect, which is pay 1 power token, and we will move Iago and 1 unattached item to an adjacent location. So here, as we play Iago at Cave of Wonders, we activate him, move him to Oasis, later on activate him again, move him to Streets of Agrabah, and then move again to Sultan's Palace, right? And so that's part of the win condition of Jafar, is having the Magic Lamp at Sultan's Palace. Snake Staff is the card that you're looking for to help you draw out Hypnotize. And so Snake Staff has its ability, which is you pay 1 power token, and then you can play, or put, Hypnotize that is in your discard pile into your hand. So these were in here, you can draw one of them, put it back into your hand, right? So let's say we play Snake Staff at Streets of Agrabah. This is an example, but we had Hypnotize here. We would pay 1 token to draw the Hypnotize into our hand. As we take a look at Hypnotize, you'll notice that are two things that needs to be in play. First is we have to actually use this effect card first, and then we have to defeat the hero, right? And so the only place we can actually use both of these options, as you can see from this board here, is here at Sultan's Palace. This is the only place that has the play a card option, and then at the same time has a vanquish option here at the very bottom as well, right? And so what we're looking for is we don't need Genie to be at Sultan's Palace. We just need Jafar standing on Sultan's Palace. So while Jafar is standing on Sultan's Palace, we would then use Hypnotize. The cost of Hypnotize is equal to the strength of the hero you're looking to defeat. So we're looking to defeat Genie. His base strength is 6, so it would cost us 6 power tokens to use Hypnotize. However, let's say if there was another card that was in play, which is called Wish. And so Wish is an item that you attach to a hero, and that hero gets +2 strength. So if Genie has 1 wish on him, he has a strength of 8. 2 wish on him, he has a strength of 10. And then if he has 3 wish, a strength of 12, right? And if we were unprepared and the magic lamp was also here at the very bottom, Genie would have a strength of 14. So this is what you are trying to avoid as the other players are looking to fate you to make this combination happen. Genie, 3 wishes, and the magic lamp, right? Once all of this is in the same section, Genie is literally invincible, right? So we would then have to remove, obviously the magic lamp away from him to make him weaker to 12. And then now we have to collect 12 power tokens to defeat Genie, right? Just to activate Hypnotize, which is crazy. Let's say we don't, right? Let's say we're not that unlucky and there's only a Genie of 6 power. So what is the most efficient way to defeat Genie with a power of 6? And we're going to take a look at is this one here, and we're going to start with Razul. So Razul, the cost to play as allies at Razul's location is reduced by 1, which is wonderful. So we take a look and we will say Razul gets played here at the Genie's location. And so now Genie is 6, Razul is 3. So we have 2 options, but this is the most cost efficient option, which is we're using one of Palace Guard, which cost us currently nothing to play because of Razul's effect. And then secondly, we're using Scimitar. And so Scimitar gives an ally +1 strength. And once again, we can attach Scimitar to either the Palace Guard or Razul. And then now we have a total of 6 here at the very bottom, right? And so if we played it in that order, the total cost of power tokens for us to summon a unit or a team with 6 power was only 3 power tokens. The alternative to that option is Razul here at the very bottom, and then it requires 3 Scimitars being played, and now he has a strength of 6 to defeat the Genie. The reason I say this is not the most cost effective is because we are actually using 4 of our resources to defeat 1 Genie, versus the other option with the Palace Guard only uses 3 of our resources to defeat the Genie. Once we have our team ready, which is ideally Razul, Scimitar, and the Palace Guard, Genie in the same location, no magic lamp, nothing, no additional wishes, nothing like that. Ideally, we're looking to move Jafar to Sultan's Palace, use the effect card or play a card, Hypnotize. So now this card is in effect, costs us 6 tokens. We then take the Vanquish option, Vanquish Genie, and then Genie comes down to our board. Everything gets discarded, and so now Genie is under our control. We, however, have not won yet, because his objective, once again, is start your turn with the magic lamp at Sultan's Palace and Genie under your control. So now we have to wait a full turn for people to go and to play. Very quickly, I want to just highlight the effect cards within Jafar's Fate and Hero deck, and how they impact us as well, right? So we were just taking a look at some of the win conditions for Jafar, and having the genie played, we have to collect a lot of resources. The first one we don't want to see is treachery, and so treachery forces us to lose 2 power tokens, so quite powerful as we're trying to collect enough to use hypnotize. Next, the cards that we don't want to see is this one here, which is Narrow Escape. So Narrow Escape is choose and play a hero from Jafar's discard pile onto the field. So once again, depending on the situation, they can play any hero from the discard pile. So heroes like Aladdin is super important. Heroes like Abu is super good because it helps take the magic lamp out of control. Even if they were already in play, another hero that's super strong is Carpet, right? Because you have to defeat Carpet first before defeating Abu or Aladdin. So just a great taunt type of card as well. So be very careful about Narrow Escape and it not being in the discard pile. Last but not least, as we were looking to build our army to defeat Genie, Crushing Blow is the card that we want to look out for as well. Crushing Blow allows the other players to discard any ally in our realm with 3 or less strength. As you've noticed, all of our allies have 3 or less strength, right? The only time that anyone has a strength of 4 or 3, or I guess 4 or more in this case, is Razul plus Scimitar, right? So now he has a strength of 4, so Crushing Blow would not have an effect on it, right? However, let's say we, weren't prepared and we had Palace Guard plus the Scimitar. They only have a strength of 3. And so even if it was like that, Crushing Blow would still be impactful enough to remove both the Palace Guard and the Scimitar. So as we're looking to attach the Scimitar, who do we ideally want to attach it first? Always to Razul. So let's say our game board state becomes super unfortunate. So in the first example, the Genie had nothing on him. What if he did? What if he had Wish, which gives him a +2 strength? Now he's at 8, 10, 12. How or what do we do to defeat him, right? So let's say we have our base of Razul, Palace Guard, and Scimitar is attached to Razul. So we initially had our base of 6, right? What are other things that we can use to help reduce Genie's strength? And the first is this here. We have 2 copies of Giant Hourglass. And so let's say these are items that we play to any location. If we were to play Hourglass or Giant Hourglass at the same location that Genie's at, we can actually activate its effect for free. And the hero at that location loses 2 of its strength. So if we are putting him here on top of this location here, and both of them are placed, we cannot activate 2 at the same time. So as you take a look here, the only place that has the activate button is this one here. And so you can activate one of these options, not 2. So placing both in the same location will not be helpful for you to reducing the Genie's strength. And so only having one played is ideally the best form or best solution, right? So this reduces a strength of 2, ideally matching one of the items that is in play. After that, we would then need to play more Scimitars and more Palace Guards on top just to match that strength there. For every wish that is played, ideally you're adding another Palace Guard because they have a strength of 2, right? So at this point, we now have to add 2 more Palace Guards plus the effect of Giant Hourglass to match the overall 12 that is Genie, which is ginormous, right? Last but not least is we want to take a look at how do we generate enough power tokens to have 12 power. That's a lot of power. 12 power is a lot of power. And so the card we're looking for is necessary sacrifice, and it is absolutely true. Necessary sacrifice. So necessary sacrifice is discard any ally or item under your control and gain 3 power. And you have 3 copies of this card, cost 0 to play. So cards you're discarding are maybe the magic lamp, which you don't need anymore, the pendant if you come to close to end game, Razul, if he is on the field, discarding him is great because you can draw 1 more card back. Iago, if the lamp is already at Sultan's location. But ideally, these are all some of the cards that you're looking to discard. These are some of the cards that you're looking to go through so that you can use for necessary sacrifice to gain that power. For those who are risk takers, this card may be the card for you, right? And so the card that we're about to talk about is called Scrying. And so Scrying is choose either an item or an ally. So you're choosing the type, item or an ally. Reveal cards on the top of your deck until you reveal that card, put that card into your hand, and the rest is discarded. So as you take a look, you have 3 copies of this card, but the effect is quite risky. So we're going to go through a quick example of this right now. I've shuffled the cards here to our left. And so I actually don't know the order of the cards. And let's say I called an item card. We would lose an ally. We would lose an effect card. We would lose another effect card. We would lose another ally. And then we have an item. So we would draw the scimitar and we would lose the 4 cards that we draw, right? So definitely quite risky. What if we said, I'm going to choose ally, instead of item. So we would say, that's an item, we lose that. And then, an ally, nice. So giant hourglass gets discarded and then we get to pick up palace card. So the idea of scrying is that it is quite risk-taking and this requires your knowledge. Hopefully this video would help with that, with the amount of cards you have in your deck, the number of copies you have, and as you take a look at your discard pile, you would be able to figure out if you have more cards that are allies or more cards that are items specifically to pick up. So if there's no Hypnotize, there's no Garrett Pendant, nothing like that, maybe this is a good card to help you draw them out. However, if it's super early in the game and you're using it, just like what we just did here, we're milling a lot of cards unnecessarily just for 1 card, right, to progress the story. So definitely a risk-taking type of card. I want to say that's it. As if Jafar was super simple to play and straightforward. But he's not. As we can see, all of his heroes have effects that will either impact each other, impact Jafar, slow him down in his win condition. He has less cards in his hands, items that make Genie super strong, right? So definitely a difficult deck to play through. At the same time, Jafar has a lot of removals, a lot of different strategies to play through, and it does require more experience playing Jafar to get the hang of him, right? I want to say thank you to everyone who have been watching these videos. Some of the comments have been super helpful, the feedback, I definitely appreciate that. And then some of you messaging me privately just to discuss further about the game, which has been very nice to have that opportunity to chat with you guys, right? Moving forward, after the original box set, we are now going to take a look at the expansions of Disney Villainous. There are 4 expansions and we're going to go through all 4 of them. We already have the next one picked out because one of the people messaged me and requested a specific box. So we're going to do that first. But if you guys also want to see a specific villain, please in the comment below, let me know if you want to see someone in particular, and then I can put that on the list and expedite those specific villains as well. As always, I want to thank you guys for joining me in this video. It was a lot of fun to make this entire first box set, and at the same time, like and subscribe to this video so you can stay up to date with more of the videos coming up as well. So I hope you guys are staying safe during this time, and once again, and as always, bye for now.